Good morning, Kerry Worthington with ABC News. Greater Brisbane residents are hoping for another day of no new coronavirus cases as they enter the third day of lockdown. Meg Purtell reports.
More than 2 million residents have been housebound since 6 p.m. on Friday after a hotel quarantine cleaner tested positive for the highly contagious UK strain of the virus. She visited a number of sites while infectious, prompting thousands of people to come forward for testing over the weekend, but no new cases have been recorded. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk has thanked people for staying home and wearing masks.
We have taken this decisive action. It's the right thing to do, and let's see what our numbers are. But so far, so good. Fingers crossed.
21 people have been fined for breaching restrictions since Friday night.
New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian says she's hopeful Victoria will reopen its border to New South Wales this week. New South Wales recorded 3 new locally acquired cases yesterday, all linked to 2 known clusters. Victoria recorded its 4th straight day without any locally acquired cases. Ms Berejiklian says when it comes to border closures, the states can and should work together.
Just to demonstrate that when New South Wales closed its border with Victoria, I spoke at length to the Victorian Premier, I spoke to the Prime Minister, we had a 3-way conversation. It was a big decision for us to take, and I just ask that other state premiers extend the same courtesy.
Indonesian searchers have located the black boxes of the Sriwijaya Air passenger plane that crashed into the Java Sea, killing 62 people on board. Indonesia correspondent Ann Barker reports.
Navy divers have found the plane's fuselage on the sea floor. The National Transport Safety Committee says the black boxes have also been located but are yet to be retrieved. The 737-500 jet plunged into the Java Sea about 4 minutes after taking off from Jakarta. Search teams have already recovered body parts, personal belongings and pieces of wreckage. Families of those on board have been asked to give DNA samples to help in the identification process. As well as the 12 crew, 50 passengers were on board, among them 7 children and 3 babies.
Victoria Police say it'll be some time before they can interview a man who was seriously injured in a house fire that killed a woman and her 3 children. The fire started in the garage of a home at Glen Waverley in Melbourne's southeast early yesterday. The man's being treated in hospital and isn't yet fit to be interviewed. A senior US Democrat says the party may wait until after Joe Biden's first 100 days in office before sending any articles of impeachment against Donald Trump to the Senate. The Democrats are grappling with how impeaching Mr. Trump for a second time could affect Joe Biden's early days in office. House Majority Whip James Clyburn has told CNN it'd give Mr. Biden a chance to launch his agenda in Congress before a time-consuming trial of the outgoing president.
We'll take the vote that we should take in the House. We'll make the determination as when is the best time to get that vote and get the managers appointed and move that legislation over to the Senate.
Thousands of people living on the outskirts of Port Moresby are facing eviction as the city struggles to support its growing population. PNG correspondent Natalie Whiting reports.
Almost half of the land in PNG's capital, Port Moresby, is taken up by unplanned settlements. An extreme shortage of affordable housing means many people build their own small homes in these settlements. On the outskirts of the city, the community of Bushwara has been growing for 20 years. But the majority of the land actually belongs to one of the country's biggest superannuation funds. After losing a court case, the residents are facing eviction in March. But community leader Tony Tetor says they plan to go to court to challenge it.
There's no other place in the city that we can move out.
The city's governor says he's trying to negotiate an agreement to keep some of the land for the settlers.
In cricket, Australian coach Justin Langer is supporting Indian team managers who've lodged a complaint about alleged racial abuse at the SCG. Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah were allegedly targeted on the 3rd and 4th days of the 3rd test. Play was stopped for around 10 minutes yesterday after Siraj complained to the umpires and police ejected a group of men. Langer says racism has to be stamped out in all sport.
It's one of my greatest pet hates in life, that people think they can come to a sport.
You're listening to ABC.